This open meeting of the Town of Auburn Select Board is called to order and is being conducted both in person and remotely, consistent with Chapter 107 of the Acts of 2022, which suspends the requirements of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of the public bodies are allowed to participate remotely as long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For the public to join the meeting remotely by telephone, dial 1-408-650-3123 and use access code 235-235-861. Or the public can join via computer at global.gotomeeting.com/join/235-235-861. All supporting materials that have been provided to the members of this body are available on the town's website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. Please note that this meeting is being recorded by Auburn Cable Television. Is anyone else recording the meeting tonight? Seeing nobody, I'd ask that we please stand, if you're able, for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is public comment. Is anyone here to make public comments? I understand we don't have a sign-up sheet, but if you can please raise your hand and come to the mic. Mr. Richards? Just a reminder, in accordance with the state open meeting law, public comments can be made on any issue that is within the board's jurisdiction. Please keep the comments to that. It's not meant as a back and forth. If there's anything that the board needs to put on the agenda, we'll put on at a later date. Or, of course, staff is here, so if there's anything that needs follow-up, they'll follow up. Sure. Mr. Richards?
Evening. I was wondering if we could get an agenda item for the next meeting for the discussion of possible formation of an economic development and investment corporation and potentially some novel uses for Camp Gleason. Quick and dirty, shallow example. We have a yoga student. We have a yoga class going on there. I believe they pay rent. So just a preview would be, for example, instead, in lieu of rent, the yoga instructor could offer classes to the seniors or the Auburn Youth and Family Services families or whatnot, and use that to give back to the community while they use that space. Another example, we broadcast sports games at the high school and other places. We have a professional grade studio that just went in there. Perhaps the students could get some digital enhancement and use of those facilities to up their digital creation game at the same time while promoting ACTV. And I have a host of other ideas. That's all.
Thank you. I know, speaking for the board, I believe it will probably be an agenda item on a later meeting. We have town meeting coming up, so it'll most likely be after town meeting. Thank you. Gentleman in the front row, I know you were here for public comment. Just please state your name for the record as well.
Yeah, my name is Don Schoblum. I live at 68 West Street. I've been there 55 years. Okay, my concern is the traffic and the speed on the road. So far this year, I've worked on fixing the safety lights at the school, which hasn't been working for off and on 2 years. Okay, I've gone to the DPW, I've gone to Dory, and right now they're working. And I thank Dory and her assistant, which is Katie Johnson, very good. She followed up, they got fixed, they're working very good for the safety. But as far as the speed, it hasn't slowed down at all. I live just after the school, and it's like a racetrack when they come by my house. I've talked to some of the officers, and they've ticketed people doing 50 or 60 miles an hour. I am 80 years old. My wife is 82. We're having a problem just trying to get out of our driveway and estimate how fast someone's going. So I don't know if there's something that can be done. I know I was we have a camper up in Maine. They put big rubber bumpers by the high school. Slows the traffic down. You know, and you have digital speed. I think there's a digital speed apparatus by the police department. I don't know if it helps, but you know, by the police department, I don't think anyone's going to speed by the police department. And if they are, I think they need their head examined. But you know, does that stop people? Do they know how fast they're going? Or don't they? Since I've been there, and I've had this complaint to get to the mailbox, Butch Larson, who was the manager of Casella, was willing to move all of the mailboxes to the opposite side of the road so I didn't have to cross the road. The post office said, no, we don't want to change the route. So I've tried almost every way that I could safely get to my mail. I need a little bit of help if I could. I just want to voice my opinion. And people today, I don't know if they're in that much of a rush or don't they know what they're doing. I look every day in the accidents. I mean, they're crazy. People get killed, the cars are demolished. I don't know why this state, and I was in California years ago, they had cameras, ticketed the car. And if you got so many tickets, they took your registration away. You should be responsible for your car and where it's going and who's using it. But I don't know if there's anything you, town board, could do or help. I'd appreciate it. I'm trying to do everything I can to slow the road down a little bit.
Thank
And
you.
the traffic, I don't know if we can have a traffic study. That road is awful busy.
That's exactly what I was going to request, Ms. Manager. Can we put on a future agenda a review of West Street with the DPW director and the chief of police and discuss the traffic? If a traffic study can be done, then we can bring it before us, discuss possible solutions to that. And please include also the school department with the school, as well as the school headquarters right there as well.
Absolutely.
You know, and one other thing, and I'll just let you go. Trailer trucks go down there over 40 miles an hour. Now, I see kids walking in the road once in a while. They don't usually walk down my way. But how soon could you stop a trailer truck? I mean, everybody's kind of doing it, and I don't know if we're such a rush these days, but I thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. So anybody else that would like to speak for public comment? Okay, seeing no one, we will move on.
We'd like to see if we can move up agenda item 8A.
So we are waiting for Danielle with the proclamation, I believe.
I don't have it, yeah.
So we're going to have to hold on that. I apologize. Let's go to the next item, which is a public hearing to lay out Nancy Drive with a possible board vote to refer this layout to the planning board for their recommendation in anticipation of street acceptance at the annual town meeting. Can I please have DPW Director Pegwin join us up here? Thank you. At this time, is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Chair is an aye, so that's 3-0. Thank you for joining us. This is a public hearing, so I'd like to begin with just a quick update from you. Last time, there was some differences between yourself and Dr. Menard on the proper process, so you can just update us, and then we will ask any questions from the board, and then we'll open it up to the public as well. Thank you.
So after the board's last meeting, we looked at the history of what the procedure was for a street acceptance back in the 1970s. And in looking at this road and other roads that were being accepted at the same time, the planning board would recommend the road go to the board, to town meeting for the town meeting to vote whether or not it would go to a layout hearing. And then after that, the planning board would get the layout plans. They would recommend to town meeting whether or not the road would go to street acceptance. So at the time, it would be 2 town meetings and 2 planning board hearings. We've streamlined that since then, or the town has. And so now it's one town meeting, but before that, the planning board would need to vote to, one, whether or not the road is acceptable for construction standards, which that for Nancy Drive happened in 1971. And then they would also, the planning board would also vote on the actual layout, which the residents of Nancy Drive had hired a land surveyor to prepare. So that's before the board now.
Dr. Menard, if I can ask you to join. This is the public hearing on Nancy Drive. We just got an update. Can you just confirm that the layout plan that we received today via email is satisfactory to your department in terms of what you expect?
Yeah, we'll schedule that for, I'm not sure what date we'll schedule the public hearing for, but.
Do the members have any questions?
No.
No? Okay. Is anyone from the public here for the public hearing on Nancy Drive? Seeing no one, I just have one other question. Oh. Oh. Okay. So Sure. So the Nancy Drive is currently a private way. There was a process in 1971, when it was constructed that at the time the residents started to make it a public way. However, at some point that fell through and it was never actually done. So this is working, our DPW director working with some of the residents are moving forward with that process to make it a public way now, sort of close, close the circle and make it a public way. So that's essentially what's being done. The process is that this board has to vote tonight to refer to the planning board, and please correct me if I'm wrong. The planning board will then hold a public hearing, provide the same opportunity for public comment. They will vote to approve it and then send it to town meeting. Is that correct? Or they just make a recommendation to town
They
meeting?
make a recommendation.
So they'll vote to make a recommendation to town meeting, and then town meeting will we'll have the final vote. Is it still the intent to try to do it for the fall town meeting, or are we moving this to the May town meeting because of timing? Okay, so it'll be, once it goes to town meeting, it'll be at the May town meeting, the annual town meeting in May. With no other questions, okay.
Make a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None?
Make a motion that we refer the Nancy Drive layout to the planning board for their recommendation and anticipation of street acceptance for the annual town meeting.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We ready for 8A?
I believe we are. Just let me confirm that we have the proclamation. We are ready. Thank you. Is
Make a motion that we move up agenda item 8A.
there a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? It passes. So we are moving up to issue number 8A on the agenda, which is a presentation of a proclamation to recognize J. Lawrence Chicolo for 12 years of service on the Zoning Board of Appeals. I know Mr. Chicolo is in the back. If you can please join us up here. I know you're no stranger to being up here, so please join us. So this proclamation, I'll read it in a minute. I just want to thank both ZBA Chair Bob Tatro as well as Vice Chair Mr. Marin, who is in the back, on behalf of their members for asking the board to do this and to honor your service for the town. So, Town of Auburn Select Board proclamation. Whereas the Auburn Select Board wishes to recognize individuals for their dedicated service to the town of Auburn and its citizens, and whereas J. Lawrence Chicolo served on the Zoning Board of Appeals for 12 years, beginning in 2013, and whereas J. Lawrence Chicolo took up positions serving on the Zoning Board of Appeals for 12 years, as a town meeting member from Precinct 3 for 6 years, as a constable for 10 years, and on the DPW leaf pile in 2018, and now therefore, we, the Select Board, on behalf of all town employees and the citizens of Auburn, do hereby express our sincere appreciation to J. Lawrence Chicolo for his loyal and distinguished service as a Zoning Board of Appeals member, and thank him for the professionalism and respect he displayed while serving our town residents. Thank you very much for your service, Mr. Chicolo.
Thank you.
Not to put him on the spot, but Vice Chair Marin, if you wanted to come up and say a couple words on behalf of the ZBA. And then after that, we will take pictures.
I would. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Gibbet and board members, my name is Michael Marin. You all know me. You've appointed me. 25 Bancroft Street. Look, this is a really good thing, right? And you have my appreciation, my sincere appreciation for doing, frankly, what really should be done, right? I've often said it. Many of you have heard me say it. We're extremely fortunate in this town. We've got a lot of talent. And those that are willing to step up into our boards, commissions, our department heads, our chiefs, there's a lot of rich talent in this town. I've got the pleasure of serving on the zoning board as a volunteer. In no small way, and I know it doesn't sound quite humble, but I consider myself one of those capable people that steps up. I joined the zoning board, and this isn't about me, but I think it's relevant. I joined the zoning board to serve this community, both residents and businesses, equally. But I've got a selfish reason, and I expressed it the night that I first went on my first interview to join the zoning board years ago. And that was to teach my children that those that are capable actually have a responsibility to serve their community. This is the same with Larry Chicolo. Larry's been on the board for a long time. Stepping back was not an easy decision, but we were extremely fortunate to have Larry on the board. Now, no shade to the alternate, Ms. Bush, that stepped up when Larry chose to step back, and now come this February, he gets to stay on his couch, watch football on Thursdays under a blanket. I get it. But you cannot replace a Larry Chicolo. Over the years, Larry taught us how to manage this business, quite frankly. He taught us specifically how to navigate thoughtfully and correctly the variance process, always taking us back to task on what it was and what it wasn't. But most importantly, Larry taught us all to always vote our conscience, always. And that's something that I've always remembered. I met Larry through the zoning board, I guess that many years ago. And obviously come to find out that he was a dear neighbor. But those of you that have watched my meeting know that I talk, right? And I like to be heard. But I know you've got other business tonight. I'll finish up on this. I'll end on this. If a lot of my comments seem personal, it's because they are. For me, Larry's not just a board member, a fellow board member. I'm honored to call Larry my friend. Thank you, Larry.
Mike, don't go anywhere. You're joining us for the photo. Thank you very much. Okay, going back to the agenda. Item 5B, public hearing, and possible board vote on common victular license, indoor entertainment license, and all alcoholic beverage license for Jasmine Culinary Group, doing business as Jasmine Asian Cuisine at 711 Southbridge Street, Auburn, Mass. 01501. Thank you for joining us.
Make a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion's been made and seconded, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Zero opposed. Public hearing is now open. Do any of actually, do you want to just introduce yourselves and let us know why you're here?
Yes, good evening, everyone here. My name is Andrea Cole. I'm the paralegal working for the Attorney Coleman Law Office. Tonight, I represent our client, the Jasmine Culinary Group, Inc., taking over for the transfer license application. Basically, the entertainment, common rituals, and the all alcoholic license for the existing restaurant named the Jasmine Asian Cuisine. Our application is basically for the transfer of our business owner only. Nothing else will be changed. The name, the operation, the nature of the restaurant, Japanese Asian cuisine, serving Hibachi style concept, all remain unchanged. Sitting next to me, her name is Miss Pam Panjo. She will be the proposed new manager of the new owner. She actually is the current employee of the restaurant, working there since year 2018. So she is very familiar with the overall regulation, the operation of the restaurants. She's well known everything related to the requirement and the operating there. So we'll be happy to answer if the board has any questions.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from the board?
I believe the packet was very comprehensive. I don't know if the residents have any.
Is there anybody in the public that would like to ask questions or comment on this, since it is a public hearing? Okay, seeing none, I'd ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion being made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none. Motion passes.
Make a motion to approve the common vehicular license for Jasmine Culinary Group, Inc., DBA Jasmine Asian Cuisine at 711 Southbridge Street, Auburn, provided that all applicable requirements of the state, the town, and any of its departments, boards, or commissions have been fulfilled. Said license is subject to all conditions stated upon it. Failure to comply with any and all conditions shall invalidate the license and render it null and void with the conditions of the DCG to be placed upon the license.
Second.
And can I just clarify, this motion's been made and seconded that this will be through December 31st, 2026?
Yes.
Motion been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none. Motion passes.
Make a motion to approve the indoor entertainment license for Jasmine Culinary Group, Inc., DBA Jasmine Asian Cuisine at 711 Southbridge Street in Auburn, Mass., provided that all applicable requirements of the state, town, and any of its departments, boards, and commissions have been fulfilled. Said license is subject to all conditions stated upon it. Failure to comply with any of the conditions shall invalidate the license and render it null and void, with the conditions of DCG to be placed on the license.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded, and I'd just like to clarify that the intent is that this is through December 31st, 2026.
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries.
Make a motion to approve the all alcoholic beverage license for Jasmine Culinary Group, Inc., DBA Jasmine Asian Cuisine at 711 Southbridge Street, Auburn, Mass., provided that all applicable requirements of the state, town, and any of its boards, departments, and commissions have been fulfilled. Said license is subject to all conditions stated upon it. Failure to comply with any conditions shall invalidate the license and render it null and void, with the conditions of DCG to be placed upon it. Good until 2026.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up is item 6A, Auburn School Department Informational Communication about amendment to Article 3 of the special town meeting. Dr. Chamberlain, if you want to join us. Thank you.
Hey, I'm going to pull up, I have a few pictures to show you this evening. Okay. You may remember I was here several weeks ago talking about a situation at Swanson Road with the parking lot and a drainage situation. I am here this evening with Mrs. Stanek, my business manager, and Mr. Gregoire, my director of facilities, in case you have any questions. So at the time, we felt there had been a leak in a pipe that was part of a chamber that provides the drainage for the parking lot. And at the time, the engineers felt like this was a contained situation. Well, like all good construction projects, that did not turn out to be the case, unfortunately. So I bring to you tonight just a few pictures to show you. Once they opened up, did some preliminary work to see what was there, they were able to put a camera through the remaining part of the system, which takes up the majority of the rest of the parking lot. You'll see there are some holes at the top. It's a little hard to see in this one. There were a number of these holes that they used to access to look in there sometime. There were too many of them placed along this pipe. You'll also see on this sidewall where the rocks are coming through, that's not how it's supposed to be. That's supposed to be a solid pipe. Again, that's one of the holes that's at the top of the pipe. Another area where this section of chamber has been compromised by the rocks outside it. And this is difficult to see, but along the base, right here, you can see some hairline cracks that run along the bottom of this. So it is the recommendation of the engineer that's working on the project that this be immediately corrected. While there is no evidence on the pavement above it that this system is failing right now, they believe that eventually it will, and this poses a liability for us to not make the correction at this time. So our initial quote for the first section was $132,999. The additional section to be fixed is an additional $155,400 for a total of $288,399. And so we've been working with Dory and with Ms. Harnois around funding opportunities for this. And so we will be amending our article for the funding for this to hopefully use some funding that was left that we were, quite frankly, I was unaware of from the middle school building project, which is $265,553. And then some additional HVAC money that's in CIP for Swanson Road in the amount of $34,446. We do anticipate coming in under 300,000, but there may be some additional money needed for backfill and the like and that kind of thing. We continue to explore insurance opportunities for this to recoup some of this money. We don't have good answers on that yet. And Mr. Gregoire's been looking into warranty. We looked at, there was an extended warranty, if you can believe it, on the pavement, but that has since expired. So we seem to be just outside the window where this, we could have recouped some of this. But when all is said and done, we hope that there can be some urgency around this project because winter's coming. And we're going to get to a point that we're not going to be able to pave because of the winter, and then we can't effectively plow for the safety of the people who need that. So right now, the folks that park there are parking along the kickball field, which is in the back, which obviously is not a great thing to maintain in the winter. And our other option for parking for Swanson Road employees is on the far end of the Bryn Mawr field. There's a gate entry there. But again, that's very difficult to maintain in rough winter weather because it is, it's not a paved surface. So we are hoping to move pretty expeditiously if we can. But if you have any questions for me or for Mr. Gregoire or Mrs. Stanek, we'd be happy to answer them.
Are there any questions?
So it looks like a lot of exploratory work has been done there, and not that anyone can hold anyone to it, but we're pretty confident this is going to resolve the known issues. And
This is basically replacing the whole system in that parking lot for drainage. So yes, it should resolve. There aren't any remaining sections that won't be done once this is complete.
thank you.
I just have one question for the administration. Based on their urgency and need to get this done before winter time, is the school department, upon a positive vote of town meeting, able to mobilize right away and get the work done?
Through the chair, yes, they are. I have spoken quite a bit with Dr. Chamberlain. There are crews that are available. I do believe it's still, well, it's closed, but it's not secure. It's secure as in the fencing, but not necessarily the ground. They're ready to start working. They are doing some preliminary work already to try to make sure that it doesn't get any worse, but they are ready to go as soon as town meeting votes.
Great, thank you. There's no other questions? We're all set. Thank you, Dr. Chamberlain, for the update. Moving on to item 6B, CFO/town accountant will review with the board the town OPEB liability. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening.
If you can just give us an update on what was in the memo?
Sure. So the Town of Auburn OPEB liability, as it stands right now, is approximately $63.3 million. And I did detail out the activity in going back to fiscal year 2013 is when there were the original contributions from the town. In fiscal year 2020 was when there were the start of employee contributions. So as of the current date, the balance in the OPEB trust is $11.5 million, which is about 18.22% of the $63 million. And just to let you know, there will be an update being done soon on the OPEB liability. So if there's any changes in that, I will notify the board.
Did you want to, so the memo also included information on various warrant articles. Do you want to take that up now? I don't see that anywhere else on our agenda later on.
We do. We have it over here.
Oh, it's under, okay.
Let's see.
It's under warrant article reviews. Do we want to allow the CFO to provide information now, or do you want to
I'm happy
make
to.
her wait
Yeah,
and come back?
I would like to take it now.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So why don't you provide updates on Article 3, Article 11, Article 12, and Article 24?
Okay.
That's also in
Okay,
your
if I
memo.
just go grab the rest of my
Absolutely, of
memo.
course.
Thank you.
I don't think we're going to vote yet. I think we're just going to listen to an update.
Sounds good.
Only because there's a lot of other warrant articles that are going to be up for a vote at that point.
Sure.
Okay, so if we go back to Article 3 that the school superintendent just discussed, there were some funds that were available in the capital projects from remaining funds from the middle school construction project, approximately $250,000. So there's a recommendation for that article to use those funds along with some of the capital projects from the air quality in order to make up the $300,000.
Are there any questions on that? Hearing none? Nope. Want to move on?
So for Article 11, which is the recommendation for the OPEB to appropriate $250,000 from free cash to the town OPEB trust. Now, in the past, the town was able to contribute additional funds, like they contributed to the OPEB $750,000. I'm just looking for my notes. I had my notes here. But what is being recommended this year is $250,000 to the OPEB and $100,000 to the town stabilization. Now, due to a decrease in the increase in the free cash, if that makes any sense, the town's policy is to use up to 50% of the increase in the free cash. But because the revenue is being budgeted closer because the times are getting tough with the state aid, there isn't as much free cash as there has been in prior years. So that's why the recommendation has come down from previous years to the $250,000 in the OPEB and $100,000 in the town stabilization.
Chair, yeah, so you said there's a 63.3 million in liability, about 11.5 million in the trust. Is there a ratio that we cannot exceed our liabilities to what's in there that will negatively impact us? And if so, what is that number?
There isn't anything specific that we have to maintain a certain percentage or get to a certain percentage, but the bond rating agencies do look favorably on the town making the commitment to put additional funds to the OPEB liability. And I just wanted to, I did find my notes. In last fiscal year, the town contributed $500,000 to OPEB and $250,000 to stabilization. So we're hoping that we could possibly get closer to those numbers, but because of the decrease in the amount that's, available for the free cash, that unfortunately we have to recommend a lower amount.
Not against the recommendation at this time. I just want to make sure that we're not hurting ourselves for the future. So if there's nothing holding us to a guideline, then we need to do what's right for the times, but I don't want to increase the liability going forward. So as long as we still have that commitment, I think we're good.
Do you have any questions? So I guess I have a question and a comment and then a question for Article 11, which is the OPEB, and then Article 12, which is the stabilization. I know in the past we put more in both in order to but right now, because there is a lower increase in the amount of free cash available, based on the financial advisors, we're recommending $250,000 go into OPEB and $100,000 go into stabilization. And the financial advisors, of course, recommended that because OPEB is a liability on our books. My question is, did we think about, and I respect their opinion, did we think about flipping the amounts and putting more into stabilization than OPEBs? And the reason why I ask this question is stabilization is kind of like a rainy day fund, where when big things happen or that are unexpected, we can use stabilization to step in and use that money to offset any costs. We know from a recent study that was released by the MMA that there is a fiscal cliff coming for municipalities with respect to a loss of federal aid, an increasing amount of loss for state aid. And obviously, we have, just locally, we have the issue with culverts on Water Street. We know that we have pending work for dams. We know we have, requests by residents to be doing more for infrastructure, roads, sidewalks, et cetera. We have, the unfortunate situation at the Swiss school that we just heard about. And, these things are all, piling up. And I don't think that the CIP, nor the taxpayers, quite frankly, and, the 2.5 are going to be able to foot those bills when they come due. And it's something that we are going to look to free cash and stabilization to help offset. So we do not have to keep going back to the taxpayers at 2.5% year in, time and time again. So have we thought about putting more in stabilization for a rainy day fund, given that all these indicators are that a storm is coming?
Yes, and we did discuss that. We've had some back and forth about that. Just to give you an idea, right now, the stabilization fund has a $4.6 million balance. So adding the 100,000 to that would be bringing it up to about 4.7 million. So we felt that that was a healthy balance that's in the stabilization at this point. So since both of those amounts needed to decrease, that we wanted to still recommend about half the amount going into the OPEB, because that is looked upon slightly more favorably by the rating agencies. But we understand exactly what you're saying, and that's why we looked at it very carefully as what we have for our balances.
Okay. I guess I would just ask that we take, before town meeting, we take another look at that. I'm just going back to the Warren article that I believe is getting pulled now for, 1.5 million to set aside for West Street alone. That's a quarter of that stabilization. So again, the order of magnitude on these projects is going to be very large. And while I respect 4.6 seems like a healthy amount, I think we're going to find out it's not healthy enough. So I would just ask that you look at these numbers again. I know it's under the jurisdiction of town meeting to ultimately make these votes. But I just want to, while I'm here, voice my concern that that we know big ticket items are coming. And I'm personally very concerned about going back to the taxpayer time and time again at 2.5%. Are there any other questions? Okay, if we want to move on to Article 12, which I guess I jumped the gun on, in Article 24. Thank you.
Okay, so Article 12, again, in previous years, we've been able to recommend a larger amount going into there, but the recommendation is 100,000 in fiscal year 25. As I mentioned, it was 250. Now, in the fiscal year 26 budget, there's 200,000 from stabilization that is being used towards capital. So this would at least be able to help us replenish half of that we used in there.
Is there any questions? No. Article 24?
So we did have some additional discussion about Article 24 because it was mentioned at the prior Select Board meeting about possibly using free cash instead of the repurpose of the authorization. However, when we got the free cash certified, and then we looked at the other articles that were proposed to be using the free cash, and we also use 1/10 of the tax levy towards the fiscal 27 capital plan, then we're basically left with about $50,000, which wouldn't quite be enough to do this article. So we did not make a change in the recommendation to use the repurpose of the capital project.
Are there any questions? No? Okay. Thank you. Thank you for going back and checking that at our request. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 6C, Auburn Fire Rescue Department Board Vote on Disposal of Surplus Property. If I can ask the chief to join us up here. And whatever other staff members he has coming up.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board.
Chief, you just want to give us an update?
Sure. So the DFIBs that you have in front of you, that was part of the very first townwide DFIB initiative that was made by a donation from the Pappas Foundation. I believe it was back in 2007. All of those DFIBs are at their end of their useful life. We do not yet know whether or not we would be able to get a trade-in value for future equipment that we purchase. If not, then they would just be disposed of and recycled.
Are there any questions?
So this is the largest group of equipment that you'll have. I know we've purchased over time to spread this out, and it's.
Yeah, I mean, we've been fortunate that most of the DFIB program has been supported by donation over time. We did have a large group of a large purchase of DFIB several years ago. So probably in another 12 to 15 years, there'll be a cycle. But we have been replacing, we have been trying to kind of phase it. We can't rely on donations forever, so we have been trying to phase them in. But there is another large purchase that was made from a donation that you'll see a similar cycle probably in about 15 years.
Running in 15 years.
Good to be aware of.
Do you have any questions?
So have we replaced all of these ones that were going on?
Yes, so all of these DFIBs that are out of service have been replaced with new DFIBs, and we've actually added DFIBs to like sports fields with outdoor cabinets. So the DFIB program has expanded considerably. So we have DFIBs in all of our municipal buildings, all of our parks. So yes, there are DFIBs in place that replace those units.
Thank you. With that, is there a motion?
Make a motion to declare 15 AFRD defibrillators as surplus property as outlined in the October 8, 2025 memorandum.
A second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Motion's passed. Thank you. Chief, you're going to stay right there for us. Item 6D, Auburn Fire Rescue Department Board vote to accept the 2024 SAFER, which stands for Staffing for Adequate Fire and Emergency Response Grant. You want to give us an update on this?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am absolutely thrilled to be able to sit before you this evening and announce that the department has received an FY24 SAFER grant to hire 8 additional firefighters. Before I go much further, I want to introduce the gentleman to my left. This is Captain Justin Brigham. Captain Brigham has been working on the grants team for the better part of a decade. He's involved in the majority of the grants that we write on an annual basis, but also a large contributor on many of the successful grants that we receive, including the previous AFG grants that we've received for the training tower and our SCBAs. So he's very instrumental in the data collection and the writing of these grants. So I wanted to bring him with me this evening, just so, one, you would have an opportunity to meet him. I'm sure you've met him in the past, but just to publicly thank him for the work that he does put forward on the grant program. As you know, these grants are highly competitive. We talk about that when I come before you and ask for you to support us even applying for the grant. And in FY24, FEMA made available $360 million towards the SAFER program, and they receive approximately 2,000 applications on an annual basis. So the fact that the federal government felt that our application was worthy, we're extremely happy and proud of. I know Captain Brigham and I had many late night phone conversations on Saturdays and Sundays as we were, nearing, because we only get from the time you vote till the time we get to put this in, we really only have about a 3-week window. It's a little less than a 3-week window. And, we put a lot of effort in to make sure that the narrative was good. And I can remember on like that Thursday night before we clicked send on Friday, we were on the phone, it was about 11:30 at night. And we really felt that we had a really solid grant narrative this time around. And like I said, I'm glad that the federal government felt so. So our grant award is in the amount of $1,910,318.87. And as you know, this will allow us to reach the staffing levels that were recommended in the 2022 staffing study by MRI, which will get us from 11 to 13 members per group. So it's very exciting. If the board votes to accept this grant tonight, under the grant rules, we have 120 days to onboard these employees, so that puts us roughly around a February 2nd start date in order to get the employees on board. So because there is an impact to this fiscal year, our short-term financial strategy would entail, as you are aware, at the October town meeting, we're going to be requesting a sum of money from ambulance receipts to support the new collective bargaining agreement. So the short-term financial strategy for this fiscal year is we're going to ask for approximately an additional $130,000 from ambulance receipts, which would cover our portion of the salaries for the remainder of this fiscal year. And then as we move into next fiscal year, it would be part of the operational budget for the full year. So for the first 2 years of the grant, the federal government supports it by paying 75% of the grant. The third year is 35%. And then in year 4, the town would own the grant 100%. So in conversations with the manager, I know that we have talked about sort of what the long-term financial plan would be in terms of setting some money aside in each fiscal year so we're not getting hit in year 4 all at once. But also as a reminder, with the move to go to regional dispatch, this is going to free up, and by the time year 4 hits, we will be in the regional dispatch setting, and this will free up a considerable amount of money from the dispatch money to help support this as well. Again, when we look at that dispatch money, the first priority, as the manager, will tell you, the first priority is making sure that we satisfy whatever the needs of the police department are in terms of making sure that the lobby doesn't go dark and that we still maintain 24/7 operations at the police station. And then, there's, I think, some wiggle room for some other things that the manager wants to address. And again, conservatively, that's still going to leave somewhere around $700,000+ that could be contributed to this in year 4. So I think we do have a plan in order to make sure that we're not hit all at once in that year 4. So again, I'm very, very thrilled. As again, this is a highly competitive grant, and the fact that we're able to bring this news to you is very exciting for us. So thank you.
Thank you. Captain Brigham, not necessary, but if you want to add anything, feel free.
No, we appreciate the support from the board, Mr. Chair. I really do. This is very important for us. So your support, one of the things we were able to add to this grant application was the MRI study, and that was a big part of what I think maybe got us over the tip of the iceberg, so to speak. So supporting that and supporting this grant I'm very grateful. We're very grateful.
I just want to add, Mr. Chair, I concur with Captain Brigham after we talked about this. And again, we knew we had a very strong narrative going in, but I think that there were 2 things that really kind of put it over the top for us. And the board deserves a lot of credit for this. And those 2 things was, one, initially supporting the staffing study to be completed back in 2022. And second, the contributions that the board has made since the study to add firefighters to the department. I think that when FEMA is looking at who they're awarding money to, they want to award money to communities that have a proven track record that they're taking staffing within their fire department seriously. And the fact that the town had a study to lean on to say this is the goal that we're trying to achieve, and the fact that these 8 positions will get us to the goal. But I also think the 8 positions since 2022 that the board has supported demonstrates a level of commitment that the town is working towards that goal. And I think we strongly believe that those 2 things, I think, are what put this grant over the top. And this board, finance committee, town meeting, you all deserve applause for that, because I don't believe that we would have been as successful if we didn't have the support that we have from this board and this community.
Thank you. Do the board members have any questions?
We're going to have trouble filling 8 spots.
I don't believe we will.
Okay, that's a good thing to hear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No questions, thank you.
I just have one question. Will this have a positive effect on our overtime budget? Seeing a decrease now with improved staffing levels?
Yes, I think it will. Again, overtime is one of these things that it's very unpredictable. But I did report, I'm not sure if I reported it out to this board, but I did report it out to the Finance Committee that as of a few weeks ago, and we're trending about the same, we have about a 50% reduction in our overtime spending in the first quarter of this fiscal year as compared to the last 2 previous fiscal years. So that's good news, largely because we haven't really had a lot of people out. Like, everybody's everybody's healthy. There haven't been a lot of off-duty, injuries. So that's helping to manage. Moving from 11 to 13, and again, I don't want to kind of go down these rabbit holes, but to your point, we've talked before about how with the size of our groups, in order to, and again, there's 2 things that are going to contribute to this, and I thank the firefighters union for working with us and with a successful negotiation to reduce their time off. With the time off that they had previously, we had to let a certain amount of employees off, which meant that in order to kind of let that off, we were always filling overtime. So by moving from 11 to 13, this will give us that 3-person buffer to drop from 13 to 10, but contractually, we have a minimum of 9. So the reality is we have a flexibility of 4 now before we have to drop in overtime. And that's really doubled from what we are today. Really, we only have flexibility right now of 2 before we have overtime. This will allow us to double that flexibility. So I think this is certainly going to have a positive impact on overtime. Now, again, these third rock from the sun events that occur that seem to always land on my doorstep every decade or so, those can't be predicted. But on paper, normal day-to-day operations in terms of allowing people off, what that structure looks like, this will certainly have a positive impact on the department's overtime and schedule.
Thank you. No other questions? I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion that we accept the 2024 staffing for adequate fire and emergency response SAFER grant in the amount of $1,910,318.87.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none. Motion passes.
Thank you very much, and thank you
very
again
much.
for your continued support.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Captain.
Thanks.
Chief Mills, if you want to join us up here. So moving on to item 6E, Police Department, board vote to accept several grants. 6E, it's like 1, $18,250 through the Mass Office of Grants and Research for the Edward J. Brine Memorial Justice Assistance Grant.
That's a new chair.
We got plenty over here if you want.
I always pick the one that sinks. So yeah, taking them in order. The burn grant it's as I spoke with the manager earlier, it's actually named after a murdered New York City police officer, and it's historically been used for equipment needs, and it's a pass-through that comes out of the federal government and then down to the state, and EOPS, the Executive Office of Public Safety and Security, are the body that's responsible for that. So with the burn grant, after considerable research done by Detective Bress and Lieutenant Tarquini, they applied for a grant to purchase 6 flock safety license plate recognition cameras, and they would be installed at various locations within the town. The cameras capture vehicle description through basically license plate reading. Years ago,
when I was in charge of the detective unit, I had always wanted to build out like a town-wide camera system so that we could build concentric rings of, security around those areas where we have the most activity and the most, quite frankly, crime. So this is one component and one start to, or it is the start of that program. We already have license plate readers with both of our traffic unit vehicles. So those are mobile platforms. These would be stationary, and they'd be mounted on town-owned property or town-owned poles or poles that would be installed on town property.
Any questions?
It says that there's a recurring subscription cost. I assume that's for the data retention.
Correct. So similar to the body camera program, which we also got a grant for a couple years back. We obtained approximately $94,000 in equipment, and there's approximately a $33,000 annual cost. As far as the flock cameras go, it's approximately $3,000 per camera per year, and that includes replacement and/or upgrade if they change their platform. It also gives us access to their entire network. So around the area, there's Dudley, Charlton, Douglas, Bellingham. I believe Millbury is, I'm not sure if Millbury's going to Flock or they're going to the stationary version of Motorola's cameras, which is within the Vigilant system is what it's called. But there's several other communities around, and none of the crimes that we investigate, they don't necessarily occur in vacuums. I mean, they're regional type situations and people that are, moving around the region doing similar things.
Thank you.
Sure.
Chief, I had asked this question earlier to the town manager. I'm not sure if she was able to convey it to you. Is this grant tied to use of the flock safety LPR cameras, or could we use the grant for a different technology or a different company that has the same technology?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. They specifically had researched all the various availabilities of various systems rather, and they settled on Flock, and that's what they wrote into the grant was actually the Flock system. And I think they based some of that on the accessibility or the ability to access, that network of cameras locally and nationally. And a lot of whether it's BJ's, Home Depot, a lot of the businesses that we have the issues with as far as some organized retail crime type situations, they generally use the Flock system as well.
So, full disclosure, the reason why I asked that question, in my day job, I work a lot with LPR and other enforcement. I'm aware of the Flock system. My concern with Flock specifically is over the last year, there's been several high-profile instances where, just to give some examples, so Flock was found in violation of state law in 2 different states. I believe it was Washington and Illinois, with respect to the way that their access to the cameras, how they were set up, and how they were being used by other agencies. There was several cases out of Texas where sheriff's departments were using their access to the Flock system to do tracking for residents of Texas who went to other states for medical procedures that were banned. Flock first denied this. Then it came out in open court that, in fact, that did have to take place. Additionally, Flock initially had said that, in another instance, Flock had said that no federal law enforcement had any contracts with Flock or access to their system. Again, through court documents, they had to admit that they had a quote-unquote pilot program with Customs and Border patrol that had given what was known as side door access to ICE, who were using the flock system nationwide to access information for ICE raids. So for me, there's a concerning use, and I know that they typically say that we control our own data and who has access to it, but what has come out in those court cases is that those law enforcement agencies, similar to what Auburn would have access to any of the information that Auburn has, likely have access to through the cameras in our town. I support LPR. I support using cameras for enforcement. My concern is not with how Auburn PD plans to use this. My concern is how Flock is allowing other agencies questionable use of the data. Worcester has a extremely well built out LPR system throughout their entire city. It is a closed network where all the information is stored on their drives. They have policies in place on who can access the data, where those requests come from. My concern is that we're going down this route without those policies in place and with a company who has a questionable background. And, I liken it to, the old saying that, go to bed with a dirty dog, you wake up with fleas. My concern is not with APD. My concern is 100% with flock safety. And that's why I asked the question on, can we use this grant and technology to build out that network that has very useful benefits for LPR, for public safety, without using flock to do it?
Well, the information's interesting. I was aware of many of the legal challenges that had occurred, whether it be in the Ninth Circuit or even looking at Massachusetts cases on the point. Obviously license plates and license plate owner data is, there is no actual expectation of privacy in your license plate, and they're for public viewing. If there was to be a situation, I can just tell you that we do have a policy in place for license plate readers, and we'll continue to abide by that policy regardless of what system we ultimately would go with. But if there was prolonged surveillance of one particular person, saying where are they going, like you referenced with the Texas residents possibly leaving the state for whatever reason, that would require a search warrant. If you went further into specific surveillance of one person. The intention of the grant, in speaking with both the detective and the lieutenant before the application was made, was essentially just to enhance our investigative abilities and, to continue to build out that, not only the investigative network, but to enhance the safety of the entire community. And that's kind of all three of these grants speak to or kind of reinforce the priorities that I spoke of, when you ratified my appointment, and that's that we're going to use all the technology that we possibly can to aggressively and, investigate crimes that are reported and to prevent crimes before they're reported. And then obviously with the child safety seat stuff to ensure the safety of young people and to get education out there and, to make sure that we're protecting those young people in our community. And then, of course, the traffic enforcement aspect of the municipal road safety grant. That's kind of, again, hitting all three of the priorities that, well, would have been my priorities and were the priorities of even my predecessor. So.
Is there any time constraints on this?
As far as accepting it?
Yes.
Yeah, there is. I believe, I want to say it has to be back, or an answer has to be rendered by next week, by the end of next week.
And my concern,
To accept it.
without the full board, I don't know if the support is there. That's my concern, but I would prefer to allow the rest of the board to weigh in on it before making a decision tonight. But if it's time constraint, I don't know when we're meeting again.
The 27th?
Is the next board meeting?
Yeah, I believe it's the Monday before town meeting.
Right.
Is our next regular meeting.
When do you need response by?
I believe it's next Friday.
24th.
I'd have to look. It's next Friday.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I support the technology. I support APD using the technology. I just don't support us partnering with this company, given their history.
So, I mean, we can certainly ask for a vote, but if it's not favorable, you're in the same condition as waiting.
Just so everyone understands, the dilemma that Mr. Chambers is bringing up is that we are only 3 members. You need 3 members of the select board to pass anything. So tonight, all votes have to be unanimous or they fail. So I don't know how we want to.
Is there a way you'd like to proceed?
We can move on to the other 2.
Does this definitely need a decision by next Friday?
I'm sorry.
This first one definitely need a decision by next Friday.
Yes, we have to return all the, like, the standardized contracts by the end of next week.
Can we see if the rest of the board is available for another day? I would hate to lose out on this if there was support from from enough of the board. Thoughts? Anybody?
I mean,
can be
I would defer to
available
town.
next week, but could
Town
we reach
administration
out?
to see if we can pull together a board meeting for this issue before next Friday.
I can try to, excuse me, I can try to pull together a meeting next week.
So why do we hold that issue?
Yeah. Make a recommendation that we hold it.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor of holding 6EI, or 6E1? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed. So we'll hold that with the hope that we can have a meeting with more board members to weigh in. Moving on to 6E2, grant $26,299 through the Mass Executive Office of Safety and Security, EOPS, for the Municipal Road Safety Grant. If you
So,
wanna-
yeah, the Municipal Road Safety Grant is a grant that, back when I was doing grants, it was an annual grant. It's originally was put on by Highway Safety Division, and now they've changed their name, just like the name of the grant. And essentially, they're all the mobilizations that everyone's come to know and love, whether it's click it or ticket, you drink, you drive, you lose, over the limit, under arrest. So they're basically mobilization, specific mobilizations as spelled out by Highway Safety, and we run overtime blocks specific to those mobilizations, with the emphasis being on whatever the mobilization is. The grant itself also includes almost $7,000 for equipment-related purchases, and another $4,000 has been set aside for education purposes, community awareness, and there's a school presentation on distracted and impaired driving, and as well as a car seat safety campaign scheduled for next September, next fall.
Any questions? No. One, I just want to thank you for putting this forward. As you heard during public comment tonight, the request for enforcement is never ending on more and more streets. Can I just ask that as part of the enforcement mobilization, if we can focus on some of the local roadways that we hear complaints on, Pinehurst, Oxford North, West Street, et cetera. I know a lot of our big hits obviously are Route 20 and Route 12 because of the amount of traffic that they take, but we're hearing more and more, I think, and you're hearing more and more from the residents of local streets that would like you guys out there 24/7 on every street.
I can tell you, I don't disagree with anything that gentleman said earlier. I lived on West Street when I first moved to town. And when I first came to town, when I first came here in 97, we used to go out to West Street as a pretty decent-sized group on the overnight shift in the morning. And you could stay out there 24 hours a day, and I don't think you would ever stop people from speeding. And that's the problem, is, I can tell you that one of our traffic unit officers spends a considerable amount of time on West Street. And if I had to guess, I can pull up the numbers, but I bet he's written, as far as actual money citations, probably in the neighborhood, probably over $200,000 worth of tickets on that road. But I don't doubt for a minute that when he goes to get his mail that he has to hustle across the street, whether it's a tractor trailer or someone coming. I know where his house is, so where the road curves right there, it's a blind spot. But they shouldn't, the 30-mile-an-hour speed limit it's routinely ignored no matter how many people we put out there or how often, And you're right, I hear it, but we do the best we can, and absolutely, like we participate in the Route 20, highway initiative and all that, which is great too. But you're right, it's the local roads that are the ones that need more constant attention, and it's definitely been a priority of mine, and the officers are well aware of it. And without being told every morning, they go out, or when I'm coming in the morning, whether it's 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, I hear them out there doing it. And then when the shift change comes over, they start doing it all over again. So, but it's definitely something that we're going to continue to focus on and throw our people at whenever we can. And whenever we can with the mobilizations, we try to hit the local roads as much, not stay off, not just spend time on it.
I appreciate that, and I know the residents appreciate when they see you out there. There's no other questions. If I can have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the municipal road safety grant in the amount of $26,299 for the purposes of overtime during specific mobilizations, community awareness and outreach, and traffic safety equipment and speed measuring devices.
A second.
Motion's been made and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none. The motion passes. And one last one. Item 6E3, $5,000 in car seats through the Mass Executive Office of Public Safety and Security, EOPS, Child Passenger Safety Program.
So the Lieutenant Tarquini and Lieutenant Hayward partnered on this. Lieutenant Hayward is a very strong proponent of child safety seats and making sure that children are in the correct seats and that they're properly installed. And recognizing that, we applied for this grant. We have received is a little over 30 seats, total of $5,000 worth of car seats, and we'll be, as I said earlier, we'll be conducting some educational programs as well as public, some community outreach, and then we're going to plan to do a child safety seat checkpoint where we'll make sure that seats are properly installed as people are coming to school, and or if they don't have a proper seat, then we'll be issuing them a seat. So it's a great program, quite frankly. If you do have a car seat in your car, you'd be amazed at how many of them aren't properly installed. I'm not a car seat technician, but I just know that listening to the people that are, I don't know what they do to them in the training, but they come out of it kind of like zealots a little bit, Not that that's a bad thing, but it's just
Safety.
takes you back a bit,
Are there any questions?
No?
So I just want to thank you. I know this program benefited me in another municipality when my son was little. Are you going to do I know that in the past you've done the day at like one of the fire stations where you have the car seat and sort of an event where you advertise where people can come in and get the car seat inspected, that type of thing?
I believe that's one of the plans that Lieutenant Hayward has. I did see an ad. There was an advertisement for the date. I don't have it in front of me right now, but they are definitely going to be doing a checkpoint in conjunction with the schools, I believe, to make sure. And I know that they are partnering, we are partnering with the fire department as well to do a program because they have the technicians as well that do the installations.
Can I just ask, Town Manager, that I know that the fire department always puts it on your board, advertising for, similar to other initiatives that we've done, can we make sure that all the other digital boards as well, such as the library, the high school board, since the school department is participating, as well as maybe some of the mobile DPW boards, will advertise that day, not to overload, your departments, but I think this isn't, like Lieutenant Haywood, I agree that this is a very important thing. So if we can get the word out to as many residents as possible that they can come get their car seats checked, make sure they're safely deployed, learn how to, safely install them, and if there's anything wrong with the car seats, get new car seats provided to them. It's a great program, and I just want to make sure we really publicize it to the residents.
Absolutely, no problem. Mm-hmm.
No other questions? I'll take a motion.
Make a motion to accept the 30-plus car seats valued at $5,000 through the Mass Executive Office of Public Safety and Security's Child Passenger Safety Program for the purposes of distribution to families in need.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. Motion passes. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on, item 7, communications, there is none. Item 8, select board general items, we've already handled A. B, gift acceptance in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A. B1 is board vote to accept $50 from Roger H. Sachs to the Auburn Fire Rescue Department for the Fire Department gift account. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion that we accept the gift of $50 from Roger H. Sack to the Fire Department Fire Rescue Department for Fire Department gift account.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. The motion passes. Item 8B2, board vote to accept $4,800 from Stephen J. Chambers to the town of Auburn for tree planting. I just want to note that Mr. Chambers will not be able to vote on this, and since we are only 2 members, that's not a quorum, so this will be held over to our next meeting. However, I do want to take the opportunity to thank Mr. Chambers for his very generous donation of the $4,800, and my understanding is that this is to offset the cost of the new cherry tree, as well as the new Christmas tree or holiday tree, depending on how we're referring to it, at Goddard Park.
That is correct. Part of this donation will go towards the payment of the cherry tree that has recently been purchased and installed in the Goddard Memorial Park, which is part of Goddard's history. So we recently did that, and unfortunately our holiday tree has had some health problems and we have to replace it. So last week we were able to get in a new holiday tree as well. When I notified the Board of Selectmen that we were doing these updates, Steve Chambers came in and made the donation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we will hold this until the next meeting.
Yes.
Thank you. Item 8C, review, discussion, and vote recommendations for the October 28th, 2025 special town meeting warrant articles 3, 11, 12, 16, 17, 18, and 24 to either recommend approval, not recommend approval, defer to the petitioner, or take no position at this time. Again, we do have the October 27th meeting as a sort of a last meeting opportunity in order to make any decisions if we don't make them tonight. So
I would love to hold it and have more members present so we can hear their feedback. I know not all items were held for the members that aren't here, but some of them were.
okay, so you're making a motion to hold all of these votes until the October 27th, 2025 meeting.
It's not a motion yet. I want to have the discussion and see how you guys feel, but I will tell you, I would like to have more members present for that discussion.
I actually agree with Mr. Chambers. I think that it would benefit to have the full board.
And I will make that motion that we hold these until the
Before,
October.
before you make that motion, I just want to say that I concur as well. So thank you for making that suggestion. So,
So, yes, so we'll hold these until October 27th meeting.
Second.
motion's been made in second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion passes. Item 9, town manager items. There's no items. Item 10, September 22nd, 2025 meeting minutes. I would ask that we hold these as well. I know Mr. Carpenter likes to review these specifically, so I'd ask that we motion to hold these.
In fairness, Mr. Carpenter was not at this meeting,
Okay. Well,
so I don't know that we need to hold them for his review.
okay.
Just a thought.
I have no issues with accepting them.
Okay. Then we will, I'll take a motion to accept.
I'll make a motion to accept the meeting minutes as read.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. Item 11, member items, no items. We are back to the second public comment. Are there? Okay, so Director Coyle, if you want to come up. You can join us here or you can be at the podium, your choice. I see skepticism on either choice here.
Evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much. I would like to introduce our new animal control officer and animal inspector, Ms. Tanya Corbo. We have something fun for you to know in the spirit of Halloween and fall. Tanya has come up with an awesome idea to have a pet parade. So we are going to try a fun pet parade. It is going to be Wednesday, October 29th, and it's going to be held at Pappas Complex from 5 to 7. We are really trying to highlight the Goddard celebration that we have coming in March, and so it's a costume parade for pets, and why wouldn't that be fun? Anybody can dress up their pets in astronaut themes, right, Tanya?
Yes.
Rockets, anything like that, but honestly, just to come out and have like a family night. I know we have trick-or-treating on Friday, but this gives everybody a chance to have another family night that week and come out on Wednesday, 5 to 9 at Pappas Complex. So we appreciate you letting us announce this.
Thank you.
Tanya, would you like to say a couple words, introduce yourself?
Hi, Tanya Corbo. We would like it if you all come out, pets or no pets, just kind of a way to interact with the community, kind of get animal control out there, more visible, accessible, say hi, get to know everybody. So I think it's a great start, and I hope to have a lot more of these events.
Thank you.
Sure.
Welcome to Auburn.
If I may, are there guidelines on types of pets and how they should be brought? And again, I know this town doesn't have a great history with animals. We tend to beat the stuff to get up at town meeting. So I just want to make sure like there's acceptable guidelines and like people follow them.
Just we have the town leash law, so obviously pets are on leashes. If you want to bring your cat on a leash, you want to bring your chicken on a leash, totally fine. Just follow the leash law and, be respectful of everybody's space and just kind of like going out in public for walking, dog park, typical thing. It's just have your pet on a leash.
I love the idea. I hope no one ruins it for everyone else or.
As a proud Chihuahua, and Papillon Chihuahua mix, and I'm sure my wife is going to look forward to this and dressing them up in their costumes and bringing them. Similar to the car seat, is it possible to publicize this as well?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Was there anyone else signed up for second round of public comment? No, I'm going to ask, it's all staff, but if anybody wants to come up for a second public comment, feel free. And they are all saying no. With that, I will take a motion.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll
Do I have a
second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, none? We are adjourned.